What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. It's time for probably the most specialist ever of the Forgotten Race review, short of the last one. Today is the big 100. I don't know how to say that in Roman numerals. I super regret ever using Roman numerals on my channel. That was my bad. But the 100th episode. Yeah, we've been here a while. This is the oldest series on the channel, and it continues chugging on forward. Pushing 2 years, too. We'll make another video about that at some point, too, I'm sure. Anyway, by my count, we still have a long ways to go. Yeah, I'm gonna blatantly look at my computer screen instead of y'all. Hang on a sec. All of the changeling sub-races, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all 10 of those, all, what, 4, I think? Yeah, all 4 alternate Damphiers, the Gilman, the Grindilo, the Green Martian, I guess that counts, right? Lava Ifrit, I think both of the alternate Sylphs, the Lokathaw, both alternate Oreads, like every alternate Skinwalker. No, that's not true. We did the Wolf and the Boar, I think. Yeah, we totally did. I know what I'm doing. Then several alternate Azimars, Tieflings, the Strix, the Triton, alternate Undines. Yeah, we've got a ways to go yet. So a couple things. First thing, I enjoy homebrewing for you guys, but with 2nd edition right around the corner, I need to get this to where it's at a pretty decent stopping point so I can start covering the ancestries of Pathfinder 2nd edition. That said, if you are a patron at any tier, and you request I brew up whatever monster or mythological whatever, cool. I got your back. If you have presently requested I brew up something, that is going to happen. We are not going to not touch those. Anything on that list is good, third party or otherwise. From there, I'd super like another feather in me cap. So if you have any requests for our remaining races, that's where you find them. Otherwise, we're just going to chug on through. Thing the second, today I actually have a brand new race to cover. We've talked about it a lot. Basically, every time the KOBOLD has come up on the channel, how they're kind of crappy and horrible, but have a reputation for uncrappy unhorribleness. So we've brewed up a new one for you guys. Man, I rock in this chair a lot. I like to go sideways. Sideways is fun. So today, episode 100, Drow is to Drow Noble, as KOBOLD is to KOBOLD Boss. A personal homebrew of my own. I didn't track the RP count, but it's nowhere near as powerful as a Drow Noble. It should work just fine in all of your games, and actually, be good, be useful, be playable. And of course, boom, description. You can find a link to the Google Doc where this thing is hanging out. I've posted it everywhere. I will post it to Reddit. This is my gift to you guys, the nerd community at large, for hanging out for 100 episodes. We're far from done, guys. It's only that way from here. Anyway, be sure to like, subscribe, and ding that bell. Patronage at any tier. Make requests, do this. Also get you access to Google Sheets. Also get you access to rules, simplification guides, things today. I want to say this one goes out to every patron because I love you all. You guys help me do some cool nerd stuff. But we do, in fact, have to shout out our very newest patron today, Mr. Alec McCormick. Thank you for your help, man. Now let's hit it. Okay, so the KOBOLD was one of the first races we covered when we were a wee little babby channel. And of course, my friends, follow this card right up here. Catch you some old but gold. The KOBOLD is a race that's really, really terrible. I'm not looking at it right now. I think it's like 5 RP is what makes it KOBOLD. But it's also a race that has a reputation for being super spooky, having lots of traps, killing lots of parties. Here's a hot take. Brace for impact, guys. I haven't seen the stats for any other KOBOLD other than Pathfinder's, but I'm willing to bet that the reason Tucker's KOBOLDs were so good was because our friend overplayed his monsters. He used his intelligence rather than the KOBOLD's intelligence to make the fight much harder than it should have been. Now, if a monster is intelligent, I think that's totally okay. You should do that. Or even if you have an intelligent monster surrounded by a bunch of not intelligent things, sure. Again, I'm only talking about Pathfinder's KOBOLD. There might have been some good ones at some point, but there's nothing about this stat block that says, we're really good, we're really scary. A +2 on craft traps is neat, but it doesn't say that you're good at making them. Just marginally better than others. Almost all of the good KOBOLD stuff has to come from an alternate racial trait, and even then, a -4 strength is a strength score, and this coming from me, this coming from the guy who prefers Dex Marshals, is a strength score you must invest in or you're just so encumbered nothing matters. You're not going anywhere. So, let's talk about what we can do to up these guys, shall we? Now, we don't have to make these like the new kobold. You certainly can in your setting if you have armies of drow nobles. I'll say about 1 in every 20 kobolds are born with more than just that like wee trace of negligible at best can you trace it or find it draconic ancestry. These guys, of course, are superior examples of the race, often rising to the top of kobold society, becoming the bosses, if you will. And these guys are almost always the ones responsible for the horror stories that people who go fight kobolds will tell you. Most kobolds are weak and terrible. Some kobolds are kind of okay at crafting traps. But almost all kobolds have to trade off the vaguely playable, at best, alternate racial traits that they have for alternate racial traits that several other races have access to, no problem. As for our stats, we'll come of age at the same time as a kobold. That is to say, 12 years old. A kobold boss's scales are almost always more vibrant in color than their peers, and they're a little taller and bigger, anywhere from 3 foot to 4 foot, so kind of just barely bumping over into medium, weighing anywhere from 40 to 50 pounds. The females coming in 310 to 410, weighing anywhere from 20 to 30, we'll say. And our max age for our kobold boss will be considerably longer. What with the dragon stuff, I don't want to get too crazy with it. Okay, I'm kind of tempted to get really crazy with it, but I won't. We'll just say 70 plus 2d20 years. That's probably double the average kobold. Now, remember, this isn't going to be anything flashy, this isn't going to be anything crazy, this is literally just playable and with stats to match the flavor. The kobold boss is smarter than its average peers, and its body can maintain just a little more muscle mass, so let's say the kobold boss has a +2 to intelligence, +2 to dexterity, but a -2 to strength. I know, super boring for the uber kobold, but remember how bad the old kobold stats are. The kobold boss is a small creature with a base speed of 30 feet, dark vision out to 60 feet, and is a true dragon. And as a true dragon, the kobold boss is immune to magical sleep effects and paralysis effects, so that's fun. They retain the kobold's +1 to natural armor, and receive a +2 bonus on perception and stealth checks. Perception and stealth are always class skills for the kobold boss. I know, super boring. But remember, we're just trying to make playable. Kobold boss sorcerers with the draconic bloodline or kobold bloodline treat their charisma scores as 2 points higher for all sorcerer spells and class abilities. Literally just stealing an alternate racial trait here because there's no reason the big kobold shouldn't have it. They also possess a bite attack that deals a d4 of damage and 2 claw attacks that are each coming in for a d3. These are primary natural attacks unless they wield a weapon, in which case they become secondary, of course. Now here's the fun part. These guys are supposed to be super renowned trappers. Problem is, the mechanics for traps in 3.5 and Pathfinder are really bad. Crafting, if you're not crafting magically, doesn't work. I think we all know this, right? Yeah, of course we do. So we gotta give them a little bit of boost to be playable, and thus the kobold boss begins play with Learn Ranger Trap as a bonus feat. They ignore the prerequisites for this feat, and may take this feat multiple times, choosing a different ranger trap each time. They are treated as having the trap class feature and having ranger levels equal to their class level for the purposes of qualifying for related feats. The DC for a kobold boss's traps gained this way, but not through other ways, like if you actually became a trapper ranger, or any of the kobold archetypes that give you traps, which doesn't really tell me that they as a race are capable of doing lots of crazy trap stuff. It's close, but then also you haven't diversified the encounter, have you? Everybody's that one archetype, hooray! Anyway, those DCs, like I was trying to say, are 10, plus half your character level, plus your intelligence bonus. You may learn supernatural traps as if you were a ranger, and the DC for your extraordinary traps is not decreased by 2, but still is, of course, if you gain ranger traps by other means. And yeah, there you go. Like I said, not super crazy, not super game-breaking, but also playable. You can show up at the table with this, and you're not going to get a bunch of dirty looks from people, because your choice of race does nothing. Of course, I would totally play this. I made this. And if I'm using traps, I'd have to think my first thought would be invisibility, so you can get in front of somebody and set a trap in front of their face when they walk into it. Wonderful alchemists, rogues, wizards, magi, all of that fun stuff. GMing for it opens up pretty fun encounters. I'm a big fan of hard encounters. I told all my players this, I'll say it one more time. You should not show up at my table expecting the encounters to be a cakewalk. If you are willing to roll initiative, you should be willing to reroll. And these guys can actually kind of plausibly-ish pull that off, at least better than the little crappy kobolds that we had before. On the other side of that, dropping one of these guys in to spice up an encounter as a literal boss of kobolds, certainly also valid. That kobold's a little bigger. Hope there's nothing bad about it. Man, there are so many fireworks right now. Sorry if those are all going through. I guess July the 6th is still a good time to explode things. Anywho, that's all I have to say about that. What do you guys think? Are we playing this? Are we liking it? Do me a favor, guys. Spread this to all the corners of the internet. We don't got a lot of Pathfinder 1e new stuff coming out, what with the incoming new version, but I'm hoping someone somewhere could get some use out of this, so please spread the plague. And again, real talk, thank you all for sticking around. Thank you all for giving me the support that is required for someone who works, someone who must take care of their body to be able to do this. It means everything. Being able to look at the man in the mirror and say, yeah, you do something cool. You're not just a pushing 30-something guy working at a Chipotle who has no real hopes, dreams, aspirations, or, is much of anything. Feels really good. But enough of that. Next week, I promise, Nephilim, Wright Publishing's Company of Fiends, we're doing it. Oh, I forgot, we have to do this Sphere of Neblin still. That's on the list pretty soon. Oh, my bad. See y'all next time!